when you get, I mean, there must have been a real sense of frustration at the end of it. Is it easy to sort of get rid of that?
I think as a coach and as a manager and as coaching staff, I think it's really easy to look at things like that, and it's really easy to kind of, you almost got to go against your feelings really, and be positive. That's how I sense to be. There's times when you have to let loose a little bit, but no one means to make a mistake. No one wants to contribute to a goal that happens for them. So it's one of those things. We've always been at this club about effort and attitude, and that's what we've always got off the lads 99% of the time. So when someone makes a mistake, or people make a mistake, or players, there's not always one mistake that generally it's not always one mistake that leads to a goal. So you kind of turn a blind eye to it sometimes. If it keeps happening, of course, then that person ends up not playing in the team. That's how it works. But it's very easy to single one person out and accuse them of not doing the right thing, which is probably the case in a way, but he didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, and as a player,
I know you're on about NSL, aren't you?
No, absolutely. Yeah, and as a player, when you were, and you must have made mistakes when you were on the pitch. How do you dwell on them? Do you just put them behind you straight away? How do you deal with that?
Listen, the thing is, when people make mistakes, when players make mistakes, the ones that make it to the top have the ability to forget it and get on with the next job. The ones that don't are the ones that dwell on it, and it affects their next decision, and then it affects their game. And then ultimately, if that keeps happening, it affects their career, because they can't deal with it mentally. And that's part of being a top-class pro, if I'm honest with you, more so than the athletic ability and the ability with the ball. You have to be so mentally strong and deal with disappointment constantly on an instant basis. You have to deal with disappointment, whether it's giving a pass away, whether it's being taken off as a sub, whether it's not being in the team, whether it's being injured for how long. In football, you have to deal with it, and if you don't, you're not going to last very long.
Okay. So how do you see the month so far? And it's 5 straight draws. So do you see them against good teams as being positives, or are you frustrated?
I'm so disappointed. Go ahead. I don't know how to deal with it. No, it's 5 points. Against some decent teams. Let's not beat around the bush. I've watched Sheffield United so many times, and they're an awesome side. I love the way they play. I love how their fans get behind them. I love watching their games when they come up against opponents that we have to play, because I obviously have to watch them. So Bradford, entertaining team. We see Scunthorpe are resilient, like they showed on the weekend. I mean, if you think about, I think it was the first 5 minutes when we had a goal mouth scramble in their goal, and I think the keeper's made a save, and they've got 2 blocks in on the line from decent shots. They weren't flimsy shots, they were decent shots on target that defenders have made a block on. That's the type of team they are. I've seen them do that so many times in the past 4 or 5 games that they've played. So that's a strength for theirs. Like Bradford is a strength for keeping the ball, like Sheffield, the strength for being so different when they're attacking. So they've got so many ways to attack. So everyone has their strength, and every team's up there for a reason. And we've competed with those teams, and we've given them a right good go. And we were a bit unfortunate Saturday to come away with just a draw, and I think their staff acknowledged that after in the game. But at the end of the day, that's a disappointment, and we have to get over that. And we've got an opportunity to put that right against Bolton, who had a tough game on Saturday against Sheffield United, and like I said, who are a top team at the moment. They are on the crest of a wave. There's no doubt about that. So we go to Bolton, them off the back of a loss, us off the back of a good performance, but they're at home. So Bolton's an intimidating place, as we know. A nice pitch, big stadium, team that should be up there where they are, really.
Okay, and from the performance that they put in at the Memorial Stadium, probably one of the better teams we've seen down here.
Yes, they were. They were efficient. They were all what a top team should be. But you have to sustain that throughout the season. So, at the moment, I think in the last 2 games, I think they've lost and drew. The previous 2 games they won. So they're not in bad form. Don't get me wrong, but they have to react and try and get 3 points there at home, and they're expected to get 3 points. So the pressure is, I suppose, back on those again.
So what do you think you've got to do better? Because as you say, you're competing with all these top teams. What gets you to be that top team?
I mean, at the moment, you know, we could honestly say we're not scoring enough goals. That's in a nutshell. You know, I think we've scored 3 goals in the last 5 games. But saying that, we've kept a lot more clean sheets. We've kept the scores down to 1 goal per game, if that's been the case in the past 5 games. So you could say before Christmas, you know, that wasn't the case. But at the moment, we've turned that around. We've almost flipped it around. You know, as a team, we need to get goals, and whereas before Christmas, it was as a team we need to stop scoring goals. So it's finding that balance, and if we can get that between now and the end of the year, then we'll be in a good position. So we're not far off scoring goals because we're creating chances, as you know. You know, you don't play well without your centre forwards playing well. That's what I believe. I think if your strikers play well, your team generally plays well, and that's been the case at the moment. So if we can keep doing that and putting pressure on their goal and looking like scoring, for me that's the main thing. That the goals would come with practice on the training pitch, and with that mental ability to put yourself in the firing line again to give yourself a chance and create a goal, not just being outside the box. You have to put yourself under pressure to be able to score a goal or make a mistake.